Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2007 Toyota Camry XLE. Up front is a 3.5 liter V6 and down below is a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this here Camry for a couple of reasons. First of all, I've driven one of these before and it was actually a 4-cylinder option in the same color, but this is the 6-cylinder. This is not the engine with oil issues, and I'm excited to share that with you today. But before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackpradel.com, where you can buy stickers like this retro sticker pack or big friggin' bottle sticker, both with free shipping. You could also submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form, and you could read my behind the scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. But let's get back to that 3.5 liter V6 under the hood, known as the 2GR-FE. Well, it makes 268 horsepower, which is actually a pretty fair amount. I have to say, I'm pretty happy with those power numbers, especially compared to the inline 4 2.4 liter option. Now, the owner says that driving around town, he gets high teens, low 20s in terms of miles per gallon. So you do see a little bit of suffering when it comes to paying at the pump. However, he said on the highway, it'll do 30s if you're nice to it, which is definitely something good to see. Now, there was one safety bulletin from Toyota, which was this little tiny oil line coming off the engine. It would actually burst, and so Toyota would replace that for you for free, and later they updated it after 2010 to actually just be a metal piece so it wouldn't ever burst again. But that is the only issue ever really found with these 2GR-FEs, besides occasional misuse and maintenance required on a car that's had a hard life. These engines are really, really solid. And that's evident because Toyota used it in everything. But not only did Toyota use it in everything, Lotus actually used this engine in their Evora. A lot of kit cars or small production vehicles actually use this 3.5 liter in their vehicles. Reason for that is that they're relatively inexpensive, easy to work on, easy to find parts for since they're a Toyota, and overall, that's just exactly what you want when you build a car. Ending point, this engine is pretty dang good. All right, let's see what the V6 can do. Woo! It moves. It definitely goes for a Camry. I mean, you gotta keep that mindset. For a Camry, this thing gets out of its own way. 268. Good stuff. Like I said, paired to its 6-speed automatic. That was the only option here on the XLE with the V6, and it's nice, quiet, and collected. Last but not least, this here Camry is front-wheel drive. However, I recently learned in Japan, you could get the 4-cylinder in all-wheel drive. So this chassis actually did get all-wheel drive overseas in Japan. With that out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have some relatively plain gauges. On the left is my coolant temperature and tachometer. Then I have my speedometer to the right and my fuel. I also do get this little digital readout to give me outside temperature and other things I'll cycle through here. I really, really like this. This was something that was missing from the 4-cylinder LE that I did. The XLE gets this little added digital screen. I'm a big fan of it. Moving on to things I'm a big fan of, on the steering wheel on the right side, I have temperature controls for the vehicle. I love this. I think it is fantastic. I think more cars should have temperature controls on the steering wheel. I don't know why they don't, and I'm so happy to see that in the Camry. Off to the left, I do have volume, skip track, mode, and phone options. And I forgot to mention on the right, I do have my display button for that little gauge cluster screen, as well as my Bluetooth for the phone. So I can Bluetooth pair my phone for calls, but I cannot pair it to the radio. Off to the left, I have my power mirrors and a little cubby. And moving on to the door, I have my lock and unlock, window locks, and my power windows. Along with, I do have this nice fake wood, part of the XLE trim level, as well as I have this soft leather on the door where the LE just came with hard plastic. Moving into the center, up above everything, I do have a digital clock. I love that. And what you're seeing now, you see this sort of thick felt looking dash. This is actually just to protect the dashboard underneath from the harsh California sun. We are out here just outside of Los Angeles, California, and so it's a necessity if you want to keep your dash from cracking. Then moving down from the dashboard, we do have 2 climate control vents and a hazard switch, and then we have our navigation center. So navigation back in 2007 was a $2,000 option, and this has it. The navigation, interestingly enough, has been updated. It uses CDs for the mapping, and you could buy new CDs up until 2017. So in 2018, they discontinued navigation CDs for Toyota, so that will be the most up-to-date this car will ever be. 5 years ago and only getting older. However, to put those CDs in, this infotainment system has a fun little party trick where you hit the button on the left and it will actually fold itself out, kind of like a transformer. My 8-year-old brain loves this feature. Down below that, we do have climate controls, dual zone climate, which is fantastic, and I am definitely utilizing it today here in the hot, hot California sun. Then I do have a big garage door cubby. You could also find your aux in there, which is really nice, and you can put whatever your heart wants in there, which is great. Then I have my heated seat options. Interesting about them is that it's just one little area, and you just have a button for the left and a button for the right. There's no levels of heated seat. It's just on or off for the driver and passenger, which is fine, just kind of interesting. I feel like vehicles normally have 2 settings for either, but that's okay. Moving on to the center console, we do have the shifter off to the left. It is a jigsaw style shifter that Toyota has used in all of their vehicles, and I like it. It does have the same fake wood accents as the doors, as well as off to the right I have openable cup holders with that same fake wood. So let's do a big friggin' bottle test here in the 07 Camry XLE, and unfortunately it fails. Now there is a cubby down below we'll talk about in a second that is bigger, but these are the designated cup holders for the Camry, and unfortunately it fails. So speaking of that cubby I mentioned earlier, I do get a 12-volt outlet as well as a cubby down below here, which is definitely nice. I like seeing that, however, nothing too crazy. Then we do get the center console, and something I wanted to note here is that you're seeing a little number 2 pencil. I think it might be a Ticonderoga, but that's besides the point. The reason the owner put this in is because this little tray actually slides a lot while driving, so he was getting really annoyed with it. So he put this little number 2 pencil across, and it actually stopped the sliding, which is kind of smart. Then we gotta talk about the seats. The seats are wrapped in this very nice leather. They are power. Both the driver and passenger side is power as well, and they are very comfortable. They don't really say anything on them. They're not anything too crazy. They're still Camry seats at the end of the day, but it's neither here nor there. However, we do have back seats, so let's hop in the back and do a backseat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2007 Toyota Camry XLE, and a couple of things to note. First of all, knee room, great. Headroom, great as well. I even have my sunglasses on. I normally don't do that in videos. I have plenty of space up top. Riding in the back of a Camry is actually very, very nice, especially this Camry. And this is my driving position as well, so I have plenty of knee room. And something that the XLE gets that other trim levels didn't is that I can actually recline this seat ever so slightly. So you can see it comes back up. I can lean it down. Very, very nice. Cars in this segment tend to kind of forget about the rear seats when it comes to climate controls, but I actually do get my own vents. I can't control them, but I get my own vents. And I do have these reading lights that are actually on a swivel, kind of like an airplane air vent or airplane light too, that I could turn on and off. Last but not least, let's talk about the center console. I do have openable cup holders back here, and I do have a rear seat pass-through. I can open up this door and pass things in from the trunk into the passenger cabin. However, there's a trade-off with that. These back seats do not fold forward, so I can't fold these down to open up into the trunk. That is the only pass-through you get to the rear cargo space. Speaking of which, let's go hop around back and talk about the trunk. All right, so we're on the back of the 07 Camry XLE. And nothing really too crazy in here. I do get this nice Camry mat, as well as I do actually get a storage bin over here. But other than that, great space in the Camry. It's just a little sad that these back seats don't actually fold down. However, not the end of the world for the Camry. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and this is my least favorite part of the Camry. It looks very, very average, especially in this silver color. This is nothing notable at all. Look at it, look at it. Now close your eyes. Can you picture it? It's kind of hard to. It's very bubbly mid-2000s era styling, which, as I've said before in many other videos, I call mac and cheese styling because it's very blobby and mushy. However, it's comforting. This is the Camry that I grew up with. And so to me, I have a little bit of nostalgia with it, but again, nothing interesting to look at. With all of that being said, what do I think of finally driving a V6 Camry of this generation? Well, this is the best Camry to buy from this era. Hands down, done deal, game over. The V6 is just a much, much better engine than the 2.4 liter inline four. I don't dislike that engine, even with its oiling issues. It's still a car that's gonna run for a long time because it's a simple Toyota, but the V6 offers more power and across the board has seemingly had less issues. Not a bad deal. The only downside really is that you're gonna get less fuel economy out of this car, which in today's life does matter. I mean, with gas prices the way they are, I paid $7.80 a gallon the other day in Death Valley, California. I had to mortgage my house to fill up with 87 unleaded. So the fuel economy of this car might become a little bit of an issue, but other than that, this is just the one to buy. I said that the 4-cylinder version was the cockroach of cars because you just can't kill them. But if that car is the cockroach of cars, this is a cockroach with a stamina potion at the ready. This will go the extra mile. This will go the extra distance and be happy to do so. You actually have usable power from the V6. And don't let it be overlooked, the XLE package has very nice, almost Lexus style features. Those rear reclining seats really capture my attention. The wood paneling in here, although looks a little fake, it's still nicer than just plastic. The navigation still works for the most part. It doesn't have new neighborhoods, but how often do I go see new neighborhoods? Spoiler alert, not often. I think this car is really well equipped. I think it's well done, and huge thank you to Eldon for letting me take out his Camry V6 out here in beautiful sunny California. I appreciate him reaching out, and I finally got a glimpse of the best Camry of the 2000s, in my opinion, for my money. This is it, and I can't thank Eldon enough. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.